Good evening. I'm Manny Flores, Alderman of the First Ward, and I want to welcome you to another segment of the First Ward Chronicles. In this evening's program, we're going to be focusing on the neighborhoods that make up the First Ward and to talk about the history and the different cultural aspects of these neighborhoods that make the First Ward such a vibrant community. But before we are joined with our two guests, we have another individual, someone very special, a student from the Diego Academy. We have with us Samantha Jackson Torres, who is an 8th grade student. As many of you know, we are big supporters here in the First Word Chronicles of our local public schools, and in particular, we champion reading and writing. So we have with us Ms. Torres, who is going to read to us a composition that she has prepared for the show. Ms. Torres, I want to welcome you to the First Word Chronicles.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to call you by your first name. Is that okay?
Sure.
Very good. So Samantha, tell us you're an 8th grade student at the Diego Academy?
Yes.
Very good. And tell us, talk to us a little bit about some of your interests.
I love reading. It's my favorite pastime. It really helps me with everything, and it's a great way to learn because you just learn all new things, new words, and that's the greatest thing for me, learning new words.
But I know that there's got to be some other stuff that you like, Samantha. Tell us a little bit about
Yeah.
what are some of the sports that you like, and what kind of music do you listen to, and some of those things. Okay,
music, pretty much all music that catches it. I like music with a very defined beat in the background because I like listening to different beats and different rhythms. I like, in sports, pretty much anything that has to do with running. I like football. I like baseball.
Which is your favorite football team?
Bears. Just gotta go Chicago.
Right, the Bears game. They got to turn it around though.
Yeah,
they're
really
struggling
need
right
to.
now.
They really need to.
I think they will. We have to be thinking optimistically here.
Yeah.
So, high schools. Which high schools have we applied to, and what's the game plan?
So far, maybe Walter Payton and Lincoln Park. I know Lincoln Park has great programs, and I know I can get into Lincoln Park by band because I am a band student, so I love playing my instrument, my trumpet. And Walter Payton because I know it's a really good school, and I really want to go there because from what I've heard, I have potential to go there, and hopefully maybe Northside because I know that's one of the top schools.
Very good. So you applied to Northside as well. Let me ask you. So I know that you've, as part of your assignment, you had to read a couple of books written by Edgar Allan Poe, and then you had to do a contrasting comparison piece as part of the assignment. What are the 2 books that you read?
Telltale Heart and A Black Cat.
So for our viewing audience, briefly give us, before we get into the reading of your composition, what are the 2 stories about? Okay,
Telltale Heart is the narrator, happens to be a murderer, and then his victim, which is an old man he's caring for. And the old man has an eye, and the eye is pretty much like the enemy of the narrator. So the narrator kills the man to get rid of the eye.
And something odd happens where this killer was caught. How was he caught?
Well, he began to imagine hearing the sound of the old man's heart, and to him it grew louder and louder, and he felt that the police officers there were making a mockery of him. And then at one point he just got up and confessed.
So it was his guilty, conscious mind that gave him away. What's the second story about? The second story is The Black Cat, and that's about a narrator. And well, he's very, we'll say like he really likes himself, he worries himself, and he becomes jealous of one of his pets, thinking his pet doesn't pay enough attention to him. So he takes out one of his eyes, and then he ends up killing the pet. And then it progresses to where he kills his wife and then hides her body. Was he caught? He was caught because he was really arrogant, and he ended up hitting the portion of a wall where he stored the body. So tell us, read for us the piece that you prepared for the program. Okay. Well, both narrators seem to have a problem with their arrogance. Both consider themselves sagacious because of their well-thought-out plans, but their arrogance costs them dearly. One narrator sits directly on top of where the dismembered corpse is, causing him to imagine hearing a heartbeat until he confesses. The other narrator comments on how well the construction of a house is. Then he takes a cane and raps heavily against the portion of the wall where the body of his wife is. Thus, a wail is heard, which basically sends him to his death. Now, when I asked you about what are some of your favorite hobbies, you right away said reading. And before the program, we were also talking about how much you like reading.
Just in a few sentences, why is reading so important?
Well, reading is important because it really broadens your knowledge on everything. You can learn so many different things from reading just one book, and you can just learn so many new words that you've probably never even heard of, and then, you know, you'll just, next thing you know, you'll start using them in essays like I do, like sagacious. I've never heard of that word, and I started using it in an essay just because I read it once.
Very good. And you looked it up? And
yes.
you saw what it meant, and then you were able to incorporate it into your writing assignments. Well, I want to congratulate you for being selected for this month's program, and I wish you a lot of luck. Samantha, I know that you will do an outstanding job in whichever high school you decide to attend. So please stay with us after these brief messages. We shall return with the remainder of our program, History of the Neighborhoods of the First Ward.
We're here to talk to you today about the City of Chicago's parking ticket and red light ticket program. We'd like to talk to you about your options when you receive a parking or a red light ticket. First, the most important thing is not to ignore those notices. You must take action. Either you can contest the ticket or you can pay the ticket. If you're going to pay your ticket, pay it before the due date so that it doesn't double. If the ticket doubles, then you could be subject to booting, which is changed. Booting options now are 2 tickets over 1 year old or 3 tickets of any age. We've tried to make it easier for you to pay us by offering easy pay stations, or you could pay us online via our website, or certainly in person at any one of our payment centers, which are also listed on the City of Chicago's website. Whether you have 1 ticket or you have more tickets, you can enter into one of our payment plans. We understand that these are economically challenging times, and we want to work with you, but you need to avoid being booted, otherwise you incur additional fees. If you have any questions on any of our programs, you can call 744-PARK, or you can visit the city's website. Thank you very much for your time, and please do not ignore your parking notices.
Hi, Manny Flores here, and thank you so much for staying with us on the First Ward Chronicles. And as I indicated before our break, on this evening's program, we're going to be focusing on something a little bit different in this evening's program. We're going to be talking about the history of some of the neighborhoods that make up the First Ward. The City of Chicago was incorporated in the year 1837, and as many of you know, the city has a very unique and distinct history of being a place comprised of a large number of immigrant communities, and they have certainly left their footprint, their imprint on the city, and have had a lot of impact on the way that our neighborhoods have formed. So I thought it would be great to have 2 personal friends and 2 historians from our community. We have Elaine Corrins, otherwise known as our Culture Lady. Yes. Elaine, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
And we also have Jacob Kaplan of Forgotten Chicago. Let's not forget Chicago, Forgotten Chicago. Welcome.
Thank you.
To the show. So let's start with Elaine. Elaine, tell us a little bit about Culture Lady and our UrbanTimes.com.
Well, Culture Lady is a new brand for the Corrins Communications Inc. company, and under that is our Urban Times. And we are not launched yet, but we will be hopefully next week. We're going to roll it out. It is intended to cover from Fullerton down to Chicago, California, to about the river, or thereabouts.
This is a local newspaper, correct?
Local newspaper with and by local people.
That's great.
So we're giving space to schools and aldermen's offices.
It's like it allows for citizen journalism.
That's right. That's absolutely correct.
And especially right now, where we're seeing a lot of local publications